Sarah can tell you the best story ever from a day that she came with me to the City of Hope, and this will explain why she does what I do and why she loves what she does. When we went to the City of Hope for a checkup, and she brought her husband, and he's never been with us when we've done this kind of stuff. And do you want to tell the story?
Oh, just we had gone to the City of Hope to do some testing for Rachel, and my husband had the day off, so he's like, oh, instead of, I'll come with you, because it was going to be an all-day thing. And we were waiting for the valet to come and bring our cars back, because at the end of the day, and there was a family there of a woman who was probably in her late 70s, early 80s, and her 3 children, her 2 daughters and her son, which are all in the 30s and 40s, and they looked so just depressed. The woman was looking down, she's sitting down, and Rachel comes up and takes her hand and says something like, looks like you've had a bad day, can I give you a present? And the woman goes, oh, okay, when people, okay. So she gives her this bracelet and says, just as long as you wear the bracelet, you know that there's always hope. And the whole family starts crying. Apparently the woman had just been diagnosed with 3 cancers, and she told there wasn't a lot of hope, and so they were all just they had just gotten the worst news ever. And by the time we finished talking to them, and I was bawling, my husband was bawling, all of them were bawling, we were all hugging. By the time their car came for them to get in it, they were all laughing, and they were all smiling. So,
Kelly's crying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And my husband looked at me and said, now I know why you do this. Now, because it's
priceless.
It is priceless, and the looks on these people's faces is more than $1 million could ever pay for. It's just amazing. It's amazing.
And it is amazing. And I remember one time, Rachel, you told me that you were talking with your mom, and she was saying, "How could this happen?" And you said, "Mom, this is something big is going to come out of this." And she had.
Oh, it's the story. It's the story of all stories, which I told someone last night. It's that I told my mom that UCAAN was going to be greater than myself, and then Mom cried and said, "God." When I was dying, she told God, "Please save my daughter," and God told her, "Your daughter's going to do something greater than herself." And I never knew that. So.
And you are. And
yay!
Yay! And sometimes, this poor lady said, I thought there was no hope, and just without even knowing that, you'd given her this bracelet with hope. See, so
it happens all the time.
Yeah.
You're fabulous. I know that's what we joke about, but you are amazing.
I try.
It is amazing. So the trip.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So we're talking with Rachel
is like
Shur,
a
the
whole
founder of
other
UCAAN
story.
now. So she's on this cross-country trip, texting me little segments. We met this person, we had lunch, we hung, they came with us, we did it, and you're like this magnet. You draw people to you because you're.
I don't even know how it happens.
The energy is it's crazy. In a good way.
I don't even know most days I'm really, really tired, and I don't have the energy to get up out of bed, because of all my treatments and stuff. But somehow, when I think of someone else instead of thinking of myself, I'm energized and pumped up to want to help them. And so, I really wanted to do something for UCAAN, something that would be big and amazing. And I decided, we need to take a cross-country trip and meet some of the survivors that we've helped, but they all live on the East Coast.
Wow.
So, and I'm not allowed to fly for Coumadin reasons.
Oh, fudge, yes.
Yeah. So I told Sarah, I said, you know what we should do a cross-country trip, and we should drive and visit some of the top cancer centers in the country. And we should go visit these patients that we've helped, that I've helped over the years. And we should meet them and interview them, and we should do a whole story about, UCAAN and why I started UCAAN and how much of an impact, we leave on people, just like the people that we meet out of nowhere, that kind of thing, and turn it into a documentary and hopefully try to sell it or something so that we can raise some money for the cause.
Right.
And so, I'm nuts, and I contacted 15 hospitals, 15 cancer centers across the country, and we scheduled multiple hospitals. But in the end, at the end of the trip, we only went to 4.
Okay.
11 of them canceled on us at the
Oh,
last
bummer.
minute. It's all good. It's all good
Yeah.
because we really feel that the 4 that we went to were the most amazing hospitals ever. So we went to Cancer Treatment Centers of America in Arizona. That was
Goodyear, Arizona.
Goodyear, Arizona. She remembers stuff for me because I can't remember a lot of stuff. We went to MD Anderson, which is the #1 cancer center in the country. That's in Houston, Texas.
They do big in Texas, right?
Yeah, it's huge too.
It's
Huge.
It's like 5 buildings.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really insane.
Yeah.
We also went to the University of Chicago Medical Center, Chicago, Illinois, and we also went to the Huntsman Cancer Institute in Utah, in Salt Lake
Wow.
City, Utah. So we really did like this whole crazy circle to all these different states, and we had some exciting adventures in some of the hotels we stayed at in Nebraska and Ohio. Never stay out there.
Sarah's laughing and shaking her head and turning pink, so
my
we'll
God.
skip that part.
We don't-
Oh no, it was like,
But we
some of the
can
worst
tell you-
hotels.
We can tell you that the best times, I mean, aside from Sarah and I being sick of driving, Sarah mostly because she did most of the driving because I have too many back and leg issues. Aside from that, it was very rewarding because of this one woman we met in North Carolina. And I don't know if you read the story. I'll probably have to send it to you.
Okay.
But
There were so many.
we were supposed to go to North Carolina to go to a cancer center there. But 3 days before, they canceled on us.
Oh.
And so Sarah and I were going to drive from Jacksonville, Florida, up to Manassas, Virginia.
It's a long drive.
Yeah.
But see,
family
when
lives
we
in
first
Manassas.
scheduled it,
Yeah.
it didn't look like that long. And then when I
Google
looked-
Maps lied. They gave us like completely different.
Google Maps said it was 10 hours, and we're like, okay, we could drive that. You know, we've driven like 13 in one day. It was actually 16. So then
Yeah.
we said, okay, we're just going to stay in North Carolina. It was totally fate because we stayed in North Carolina at this little hotel where the woman in the room next to us has cancer.
Oh.
And her name is Bree, and she has this crazy background, horrible, sad life story, and now she has chronic pancreatitis, tumors in her brain, and cancer.
Ow.
And she's living in the hotel there with her 2 dogs, Binky and Bubkiss, these little applehead chihuahuas with like the biggest heads in the world.
So cute.
Little yappers, so cute. And I went over to her room and I hung out with her for a while.
Uh-huh.
The lady at the front desk told her we were doing a documentary. I'd love to meet her and talk to her. She didn't want to be recorded when I first started talking to her, but by the next day she was like all over UCAAN, like nobody's business. And so I went in there and I talked to her for a while, and then Sarah came in and we all talked to her, and I spent like 5 hours with her that night. And she was telling me about her cancer story and everything, and how she's living in this hotel, but they're kicking her out the next day.
Oh.
She's like, they're kicking me out of the hotel. I have nowhere to go. You know, I'm not getting as much help from like my social workers and all these people, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. And she's an older lady. She's like, she doesn't have any family,
Oh.
and she only knows a couple people, and she can't stay with them because of her dogs.
Because
And so
of
she's
dogs.
like, what am I supposed to do? Like, and you know, this is a common thing. This is a common problem. People are constantly asking us about housing opportunities for people that don't have family, and there's no option for that. But eventually, in 5 years from now, UCAN wants to do something like that. So what I did was, a pastor was helping her, or a parishioner or something, this guy from a church, and I gave him 6 Share the Hope bracelets.
Okay.
And I gave him a necklace that was like this one. And I gave it to him and I said, I want you to sell this for Bree. I want you to sell these for Bree, and I told him the prices of all of them, and I want you to get the money and get her hotel room here for 5 nights.
Good for you.
So I donated $250 worth of jewelry to a random stranger I didn't even know. And I said to him, since you work for God, like God is watching you and he knows if you don't do what you're supposed to do. And so he sold the jewelry, and he ended up getting her 5 more nights. And I can tell you that we heard from Bree about a week later, and she called me on the phone and she said, you know, that other guy didn't help me as much as what you guys did.
Wow.
She said, I cannot even begin to tell you how much you guys helped me. What an impact you guys had. You didn't even know me, and you helped me so much. And she's like, and I love you guys, and I want to thank you. And every time I tell that story, Sarah cries, and everyone around us cries, and people always say, you have no idea what you did for that woman. And I'm like, yes, I do, because I gave her hope, and I helped her as much as I could.
And Rachel's amazing too, because we didn't just give her the jewelry, but like that day she got on the phone, not knowing anything about North Carolina, started calling social workers, started pulling out like the 2 people she's ever talked to in North Carolina. She's like, they got to know someone. So I mean, she's just amazing. I don't know how she does this, but within an hour she had a name and this guy waiting for Bree's call. So from the social work for Duke University.
Talk
Yeah,
about it is UCAAN, United Cancer Advocacy Action Network. You did it.
I know.
You just put it in, and it's sad because what you did, like you said, took 20 minutes, and there are people who are, like you said, just diagnosed with cancer, or they're living with it, or about to be booted out, and they've been working the system for months and months and months with no thing, and boom, you did it.
I know,
So that's what UCAAN does. So it is a nonprofit organization. Before we get to
we are
mention it.
501c3.
So donations always welcome to help the people that you're helping, which is